Now let's get a look at the bigger picture. Jay Woods is with us, Chief Global Strategist at Freedom Capital Markets. Thank you for being here. Look, I mean, sometimes you can't wait to get back in on Monday after you've had a big run. We had an incredible week last night, lots of news. And now what are we watching for this week? What's on your mind?
To us down here, it's the CPI. That has been the one economic indicator that has moved markets. And when we're talking about what the Fed's next rate move is going to be, I think it's going to be dictated by exactly what we have. As you mentioned the segment before us, we've had 3 hotter numbers in a row. It's gotten sticky. We need to see something come in line or a little less than expected if we're going to get that 1, maybe 2 rate hike rate cuts. Pardon me, I'm speaking slowly today. That we're hoping to get by the end of this year. And right now, so it's the CPI, but as you can tell today, we're slow. Things aren't really moving. It was a slow week last week. We tend to rally on slow weeks. So right now it's CPI and then retail earnings. Walmart, Home Depot, even Alibaba is one to watch because Chinese stocks have been on a run as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a Freudian slip with the hike or the cut, because there's still a hike as a possibility. While it doesn't seem likely, and, Powell said we've reached the peak, and it was unanimous, it's not off the table, right?
It's not. Thanks for bailing me out there. If it does come in hotter again, 4 months in a row, that is a trend, and they're going to have to do something to now tame what is becoming a constant uptick. So, yes, maybe there is a hike as Powell refused to say in his last FOMC press conference. Right. He's optimistic that they can get things back on track. We got that unemployment data that showed that things may be easing. Now we need to back it up with some real data in the CPI and the PPI later this week.
Look, if it comes in lighter, less sticky, then they can move forward with the cut. People will be happy because they all want the cuts. But the truth of the matter is that the market sometimes does better before the cuts really start. Right?
It does, and look at where we are right now. We're at all-time highs. We're just under. We're within a percent. We had that 5.5% pullback, and now we've made almost all of it back. Will this be the catalyst to take us to new highs, with 4.5 being the 10-year rate? I don't know. So it's going to really have to be an interesting number that surprises. In line, I don't think will take us higher, but if we do get that little surprise, positive surprise, then maybe we're starting to make new highs. And then Walmart's another one. The retailer, we're starting to see spending habits change. I want to see if they roll back prices. I want to see if they give any guidance. They usually don't this quarter, but they will be a tell. And where are they trading? They're right near all-time highs. So Walmart has the potential to take us higher. It is a Dow stock, so a lot will be dictated by what they say on their call.
Yeah, you said you're watching Home Depot and Walmart and Nvidia. You mentioned Alibaba even. Some of these names, obviously, each one of these could be a market-moving event, right? Any others? You said maybe, if Walmart's good news, we can move higher. How about anything else that you're watching?
Yeah, well, you mentioned Nvidia. Nvidia is next week's big. That's like the Super Bowl for people watching earnings right now, because there's another stock that's pulled back just off recent highs. Will we get that catalyst? Now, you look at the other mega stocks that reported. Microsoft didn't get that catalyst to make new highs. Google made new highs but never took another leg up. Amazon has been flirting with new highs. We need something to take that next leg higher, and I think economic macro data will be the leader, and that would be a CPI number that comes into the street's liking, and then you follow it up with strong earnings, and we've seen earnings growth. If it continues, then there's no reason to not see this market go higher.
How about utilities, an area you've been watching, hitting 52-week highs? What is the story behind it? What's it telling you?
Yeah, it's telling me that there's one, rotation. Two, there's also a flight to safety. People are not ready to get out of this market, so they're rotating into defensive names like Staples Utilities. If you and I had this conversation in December and the S&P is up almost 10% and utilities are leading the way with a 4.5 10-year, we would have been like, there's just no way this could happen. But what we're seeing is a comeback in stocks that have been beaten down. Watch XLRE, the real estate index. That's the one that's the only index that's down. Will we see a rotation into that? Are people going to try to find bargains there? That would be surprising, but so is utilities. And then if you look at the utilities, there are three that really stand out. American Water is led, by the way, AWK, but on the utility side, the electric side, Southern, SO, Dominion Resources, or Dominion Energy, and then there's NextEra. These three names are looking great, not just fundamentally, but technically. And then there's this AI story. You kind of roll your eyes when you hear AI, but these these data centers need to be powered, and there is proof that they're just going to grow exponentially, and the power grid's going to be tested. And who's going to benefit from that? Are these utilities that they're looking good.
We've also been watching, obviously, Bitcoin, which is sort of sitting around its levels. Cannabis, everybody's waiting for that new regulation that'll get downgraded, and it's how severe it's treated, right? It won't be a heroin type drug. It'll be a it'll be a 3 instead of a 1, exactly. Basically. So some of those stocks have been doing a little better. I'm just trying to think out of the box, whether it's commodities or something else, anything else you may be watching.
Well, we're watching GameStop. Unfortunately, now we're seeing some of the meme stocks come back to life because Roaring Kitty tweeted for the first time in 3 years. That caused a lot of action over there at Post 7. That was something that caught us off guard. But cannabis, that had a nice run. We'll see if it can continue. Bitcoin 60,000 continues to be the key level. It's been holding it. If it can get back above 63.5, 64, it's toying with us. Then we may get that leg here too, and that goes to broadening out of this rally. It's not just stocks, it's all asset classes. Commodities have been doing well. Gold continues to lead, which is not what you really expect to see. So this is one of these markets that are a little head scratching. It doesn't make sense when you study them that one's supposed to lead, one's supposed to follow, and we're seeing new highs across the board. Some of these places that you don't expect to see them.
It's amazing. I'm glad you brought up GameStop because I saw about Roaring Kitty earlier today and just saying, something to the tune of we're so back. And GameStop's up 79%. So it's at $31 today. I mean, what do you say to folks who want to try and buy in or do the other, short it in case it goes back down? I mean, do you touch it? Do you look at it? I mean, right now it's off the charts.
I say be very careful. If you're going to trade, there is a lot of momentum. There is a lot of craziness going on behind the scenes. Use stops. If you're going to buy the stock, make sure you protect yourself on the downside for losses. These things get volatile, but as we've seen in the past, it's not a one-day phenomenon. This could have legs, and who knows what he has planned because the tweets have come out methodically. Maybe there's something going on there. To me, it's entertainment. I would not put my money into it, but if you're going to trade and people are aggressive, there are big swings to be had. Just make sure you're putting stops in and limit those losses if you have them.
Yeah, and I was just looking at Reddit to see, if Reddit moves along with this story. It did have a pop in the morning. It's up about 8.7%. So Reddit's having a good day too. So there is strength maybe attributed to Roaring Kitty's return to social media. Crazy. So very interesting. Okay, Jay Woods, great to see you. Thank you so much. Bringing us some flavor from the floor too. I like it.